Stage 9's an old favourite on the Dakar. Navigation always vital. From the chits to name it, 500 kilometres of special with everything that Mauritania can provide. Reaching Namer itself will be a major victory. Problems before the start for Cyril Desprez. He checked his bike himself overnight, but there seems to be a loose connection for the roadbook. Teammate Verhoeven tries to help out. Yesterday the roadbook reader was working. This morning it's not, he says. But all the riders have a basic knowledge, some better than others, of how to try and fix the machine, but in the end the clock is running. Desprez's got to get on the road or he'll miss his start time. And another early morning start. It's the way of the Dakar. The days are very long. If you don't start early, you finish very late. Anxious nerves as they head out of Chitit, across the dried lake bed, heading into the deserts of Mauritania. The ever-present clouds of dust. This morning was pretty windless, and that meant that visibility was going to be tough unless you were right out front. Cyril Desprez intended to stay right out front. He was setting the pace early on, heading the field, riding alone, trying desperately to make up some more time on rally leader Mark Comer. But having to adjust his roadbook manually would necessarily have robbed him of a little concentration. Tearing out the bits he'd already used and refeeding it through to make sure it wouldn't get jammed towards the end of the stage. But this is the only way he could now advance his roadbook. With the dunes coming, he'd need all his concentration and both hands on the handlebars. Desprez ended up second on the stage. But Mark Comer, with a substantial lead overnight, didn't need to push too hard. He kept Desprez firmly under control. He was the first man out. He was the first man through most of the scenery. Third fastest on the stage. Hollander's Ulrich had a good run today as well. After looking to be quite off the pace in the first week, Ulrich is really coming into his own. The tougher the Dakar becomes, the better he seems to like it. Fourth place for the Norwegian rider, and he's moving steadily back up the leaderboard with every passing day. Ulrich in fifth position, 2 hours behind the leaders though. Tied Comer exactly for time. Fifth on the stage was the Brazilian João de Azevedo, just ahead of Chris Blaze. A little more than a minute in it. After just a shade under 500 kilometres, the time's incredibly close between the top riders. Blaze fourth overall, 23 minutes behind Castor in third. Castor lost a little more time, 5 minutes more went astray today. Castor working hard, riding with Frans Verhoeven. But then in the dunes and the camel grass, they got lost, and eventually they became separated. And Castor, riding in front, didn't notice that Verhoeven had stopped. The story of Verhoeven's day is a familiar one, as familiar as clutch problems and punctures for Mitsubishi have been gearbox worries for the KTM squad. Verhoeven, another to fall by the wayside. Just under 200 kilometres in, and the loose drive tells its own story. Will this turn out to be the Achilles heel of the new KTM? After Esteve struggled through yesterday's stage with his major problems, a new engine fitted into Cheat allowed him to come through the stage in 8th position. He moved up as well into 6th spot because of the problems for Verhoeven. Helder Rodriguez, the Portuguese, had another day where he kept himself firmly in the top 10, 9th position on the stage and 9th overall. But 28 minutes behind the leader, again he's dropping away from the front runners. With no time to admire the stunning scenery, the riders pressed on. Debray didn't win the stage, Komar didn't win the stage, so who did? Well, it was the young Latvian Jānis Vinters. His best ever result was 5th position a few years ago on a stage in the Dakar. This one tumble, his only mistake of the day, despite having, like Cyril Debray, to adjust his road book by hand. He said afterwards he was quite surprised at how far he was ahead when he won the stage, his first such victory. And Giovanni Sala, well, his rally ended with a crash, a broken shoulder the result, not badly hurt. But Mark Komar's only teammate is now out of the event.
C'est peut-être la seule chose, jamais pas d'arrêt. Alors, il y a mieux que ça soit, c'est le cas. Oui, je crois.
So Sala has medical attention. We have a first-time winner on our hands. A fantastic day. Jānis Vinters says no celebration tonight, but there will certainly be celebration in Dakar. His first stage win on the event, a momentous achievement. Mark Komar still leads. Cyril Debray just under an hour behind, and Chris Blaze closing on 3rd place, David Castor. The stage was good, said Jānis Vinters afterwards, but it was pretty tough. I felt my hands were getting very tired, and I fell because I underestimated the weight of the bike with full tanks. But the sandy roads weren't too unkind to me. I'm assuming that my suspension was stiffer than the others, and that turned out to be an advantage on today's stage. Very long leg, 500 kilometre special stage, said Komar. Wasn't quite as difficult as yesterday. The track was sandy, and the wind in the past days, there were some little dunes and tongues of sand coming across that really made things even more tricky. Navigation wasn't so bad, and we got quite a good pace here into Neymar. Really frustrating not being able to fully enjoy your ride, said David Castor. I know that a mechanical problem could come my way at any time, and I'm the only one together with Mark who hasn't yet had a gearbox failure, so I'm quite worried.